Getting out of stock as an Amazon FBA seller that is doing private label is something that happens all the time. And in this video, I want to share with you what is the effect of getting out of stock from my experience and how I changed my mind of getting out of stock. It's really a fine line of having too much inventory to getting out of stock and managing your capital well enough. Now, before we're getting into the video, a couple of important things to consider. First of all, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you leave a comment with any question that you have so I can personally reply to your comments. Second thing, go to sourcing-monster.com and subscribe to the newsletter. I'm working very hard on getting updates and techniques that I'm not sharing here to my subscribers on the newsletter. And the third thing, I do have a couple of spots left with people that I coach for this month. So if you are interested in booking a call with me, you can do so. You can check the link down below, and let's start with the video. Okay, so when I started to sell on Amazon, and until this day, you hear it all the time: don't be out of stock, never be out of stock, you're gonna lose all the rankings that you have, and when you come back with stock, all the rankings that you had will disappear. So you know, when I started to sell, I got out of stock. I didn't really plan it, I tried not to, but it happened. And from the experience that I had, it wasn't that big like people described it. When I got back to stock, it took me like a couple of days and I got all the ranking and sales back pretty quick. So, you know, from my experience, I didn't really pay enough attention, and it was okay for me if I was out of stock. But the more and more that I got involved with selling on Amazon, the more I understood why it's so important to not get out of stock. And I will share that I lost a lot of money because I got out of stock. And it's not just the rankings, it's those days that you could have sales, or those days before you're out of stock that you're slowing down with your marketing efforts, that you could have all these potential sales. So it's basically you're losing a ton of sales if you're gonna be out of stock. And I suggest that before you jump into getting new products, new adventures, that you actually take care of stock and you get enough of stock. This is the bottom line of the video, and I will share like some real examples and how techniques on how not to get out of stock. And this is really the focus that I'm putting on this year. I actually hired a dedicated person that's only going to manage logistics, forecasting, and inventory management. So this is how important it is to your bottom line. And you know, it's a very gray area that people not really talking about a lot, but it could make a difference between making $1 million with the same item, making $1 million to making $3 million. And again, it's just rough numbers, just making up things, just so you understand the importance of this. So maybe when you're just starting, it's not a big issue, but actually, even for a beginner, when you start up, you want to make sure that you have enough stock. But at the beginning, I understand you're more careful, you're more cautious, and you want to take your time with decisions and order more stock only when you have that confidence. So that's why I'm saying, you know, when you are more experienced, when you have more than 1 or 2 products, it's something to really put emphasis and invest time and thinking on. So as far as how to prevent getting out of stock. So make sure that you forecast weekly. I do have a file that I use for forecasting where I plug in some numbers, a file that I got from someone that is really doing a great job with that. And what we do here is that we plug in all the numbers weekly and we check which it's telling us how much stock to order and when, in how many days. So some cases it's telling us we were supposed to order stock like 8 days ago, or some cases it will tell us you have to order in 2 days. So it's something that is super important to use the data, to use some tools to help you with you know, with the forecasting. If you want me to make a video about this forecasting file, let me know down below in the comments. I'll be happy to ask a permission from that guy if I can share his file. Order safe stock. So Amazon is not really predictable. And you know, in any marketplace or any retail store, you never can know exactly how many units you'll sell. So you want to make sure that you have enough stock stored somewhere. Better to have it here locally in the US, in a 3PL or in your garage or somewhere that you can put it in a storage, in case the prediction and the forecast that you had was wrong. Okay, pay attention to trends. Trends could be seasonality. Trends could be higher demands due to, let's say, the pandemic. Those are things that you want to really consider and act quick. And always take, you know, always exaggerate for like you're gonna sell more. It's better, in my opinion, these days to have more stock than less. Yeah, it's tying up all your cash and inventory, and sometimes it's hard even for me. I struggle with this, but you know, after burning out, like, you know, burning from this experience and having so many times that I was out of stock and lost so much money, I pay like really big emphasis on this. Plus, from my experience lately in the last year, the rankings that you had are not coming back that easily like it was before. So if before my rankings would come back like real quick, these days it takes much more time, and sometimes I had 3 products in 2020 that they were selling out in the first batch like in 2 weeks. I ordered more stock and I could never get the rankings that I had before. So this is something that is important. Make sure that you order enough stock in your first initial launch. I know that I mentioned in this channel that I order 500 units just to test the market, but this approach lately doesn't work, and I want to provide you all the updated data, even if it's something that really, you know, conflict with what I said before. You know, I'm not really set up for one thing. If I said one thing in the past that worked back then but it doesn't, I will be very open and say that it doesn't work in my business anymore. Make sure that you dedicated enough time to it or you get help with it. So like I said, I hired someone, dedicated person, to really handle all of the logistics and inventory management because I want to focus on other things. And it takes at this point a lot of time for me and efforts because we have many SKUs. But you know, if you do it yourself, make sure that you dedicated everyday time to check, okay, how much stock you have, prediction, forecasting, talking with suppliers, checking what's going on with production. Really dedicated like a block of time that you can do this thing every day. Check the inventory planning report. So Amazon provide, if you go to inventory planning, they give you some recommendations and how much stock you can send. This is something that's important because with these days they are limiting on how many units you can send for each ASIN. So it's important to take this in consideration. Take Chinese New Year and Q4 into consideration as well. So with Q4, I already talked about this in a couple of videos on how to prepare to Q4, how to prepare to Chinese New Year. You have to make sure that you have and order more quantities that you normally do because factories are either busy or off for their holidays. And check competitors' ASINs. So if you have a new item and you're not sure how much to order for Q4 or Chinese New Year, it's your first time selling on Q4, I strongly recommend you check competitors that are in the market for a long time and you know was there for a couple of Q4s already, and you can check their BSR and the sales velocity to determine and help you with the forecasting, because usually the forecasting modules, they are based on history. They are based on how much you sold in the last few days, in the last couple of months. They compare previous year data, but they don't really take in consideration. But if you don't have this history, you're just starting with a new ASIN, it's you want to check the competitors' ASINs as well. So I made this video very short and clear, right to the point. I hope it helped you understand the importance and the effects of getting out of stock and how to prevent this. Thank you for watching this video. Please like it, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow the channel and help me create more content like this. Thank you for watching. Wishing you all the best and success selling on Amazon.